All right, greetings one and all. Greetings, bullies, care bears, and lion hearts. Welcome to the first episode of A Team Trading Strategies. My name is Jerry Rose, and I am privileged and honored to present you this project I've begun a few days ago. So, before we begin, just a quick disclaimer. You can read it for yourself, and I'll read it to you, okay? The information shared on this channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only, should not be considered financial advice. Always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Trading and investing involves substantial risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Figured I have to say that. Every single trading channel on YouTube seems to put that disclaimer out there, so I guess it's to not get sued. So I don't want to get sued. Anyway, so what is this channel all about? Well, A Team Trading Strategies, right? We're not just a channel looking for more views and subscribers, okay? It's a plan, it's a movement, and looking to build a team of traders who can combine our skills, our ideas, and strategies, okay? And we'll dominate together. First, we'll get together, we'll learn together. My skill level as a trader right now, to be honest with you, perfectly frank, is not very good. You know, I'm still learning, and I still lose a lot. So, in a way, I'm not only seeking to help others, but I'm also looking for help for myself, too. You know, I watch a lot of trading videos, and there are many perspectives and many different strategies out there. I'm not married to any particular one strategy. You know, whatever works at any given time, and we can try it all together. Okay, so what we're going to do, the goal is to set up a live poll that basically refreshes itself every 5 minutes, and we're going to be voting on every 5 minute candle. So however many people are in that poll, we'll have it's going to be password accessed, and the future members of this A team, they will have access to this poll, and we'll just vote every 5 minute candle. Now, if you don't vote and we don't have a 50% consensus either way, that is just telling us no signal. We'll just stay out. But once 50% of the logged in voters, say buy or sell one way or the other, we'll make our move, okay? It's going to be fun. And hopefully we can reach that goal sooner than later. All right? So our vision is just to grow stronger together. We're going to trade smarter together, and we're going to win together. So the road to futures trading as a team, okay? Step 1, we got to grow the channel. We need 50 subscribers to trade live on YouTube. And until then, I will just post daily videos of my trading sessions and share my basic strategies to demonstrate my own skills. And you'll see I'm going to lose a lot because I am just learning, just like most of you out there. Even though I've been doing this on and off for 5 years, and I have gained some experience. But I took a long break and seeking to go back into it now. Futures trading, that is. I do trade options during the day with real money, but we're just going to practice, and we're going to grow together as a team, and we're just going to paper trade, and we're going to get better and see if the collective is better than the individual. See if we could be more accurate in our decision making. Okay? And I'll offer you guys market analysis for whatever it's worth. You may share my ideas, but mainly through these videos and through the demonstration of my trading style and how I do it, I am actually looking not for praise or commendation. I'm not looking for any of that. I'm not a guru, okay? I'm not anything like that. I'm not selling courses. But what I would like and what I would appreciate is brutally honest critique so I can improve myself, right? There are things about my own psychology, my own strategies, my own technical analysis that I may be blind to. So I'm always open to all perspectives. We all have some biases, and with help from others, looking from the outside in, we can nail down what those biases are so that we can consciously address those issues. Okay. So after we get 50 subscribers, I want to do this organically. I thought about just getting bot subscribers in there, but I'm not going to do that. All right. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to build it slow or fast. I don't know, but it's going to be organic. All right. So after we get 50 subscribers, we're going to go live and we're going to start trading live on YouTube from at night. I am in the mountain time zone. So I'll be trading every night from 8 to 9 p.m. And then on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is, actually, that's a typo. It's actually 6 p.m. Eastern time at market open, 4 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Sorry about that. But anyway, so when we get to 50 subscribers and we go live, that's when we'll be seeking to grow the A team. All right. Now, to get on the A team, it's not, you don't have to be an expert or nothing. You just have to be a little better than I am, maybe, or just as good, and I'm not that good. So it shouldn't be that difficult to accumulate a team here who's willing to, experiment with me. So what I will do until we get to 50 subscribers, I will be keeping track in every video, and we'll tally it up. And whatever my best win streak in a day is, the challenge will be to make the same number of trades or to get that same streak within the number of trades, whatever that may be. Say one day I make like 10 trades and I have a winning streak of 3 trades in a row. So all you got to do is make 3 winning trades in a row and you get 10 trades to try. Okay. And we'll have basically a challenge. And if you can pass that challenge, the parameters to be determined by my success in paper trading this account, it will be on the Sunday session, right? So the Sunday session from 6 p.m. Eastern time to 12 a.m. Eastern time. And we'll set aside that time for anybody who's interested. If you want to give it a try, then I'll give you access. And if you pass, you'll be trading live with me. And basically, you'll be telling me what to do. We'll do a separate account, right? We'll make another one. And basically, you will just tell me what to buy or sell at any given time. And those will be your trades for all to see. If you're brave enough, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Nobody can predict the future. Okay, we can make educated guesses. And my theory is that the more of us get in on this, the more accurate our signals will become. Okay, but as an individual to get in, don't be afraid. Just put yourself out there. And if you think it's a buy, then we'll put a buy in. If you fail, you fail. Doesn't really matter. You get as many tries as you would like. We'll try again the next Sunday. But if there are others in line, you'll just be put back in the back of the rotation is all. So yeah, this is the goal of this channel is to become the most immersive channel on the internet. Okay, for trading at least. Trading futures in particular. That's where we start, mainly the ES minis, maybe the micro, I don't know. With a $10,000 account, we may want to try micros first, but we'll see. But, as we get more members on the team, maybe we will decide to go on to other futures contracts. Anything is possible, or even options, who knows. So that explains that, how we're going to grow the team. And then we're going to develop the team, right? So basically, as I explained, we'll use a poll. And the concept is very simple. Whenever 50% of us or more votes either way, that's what we do. Otherwise, we stay out. Now, on the way, we expect to blow up some accounts, right? And we may fail over and over and over and over again. But remember, we're just practicing. We're looking to improve our skills. So win or lose, we have no regrets. We're just looking for improvement, okay? So as I said, we're paper trading a 10K account, and the goal is to get it to 100K and stay profitable for a month of trading after that. And once I can afford to fund a $10,000 live money account, I will do so. Maybe even do a prop firm challenge. I don't know. But we'll see what happens, okay? But remember, each member of the A team, we will all be trading our own individual accounts, okay? So you just trade whatever you can afford. Now, look, whether you're trading a $10,000 account or a $100,000 or a $1 million account, all the principles remain the same. We're dealing with, don't worry so much about the dollar amount, worry about the percentages and being a consistent winner, okay? So we don't sell education here. This channel is not about selling courses. Look, I have a day job, all right? I make my own money. And with that extra money, whatever I may have at any time, that's what I play with as far as real money. Right now, as I said, I'm doing options on the SPY. So I will give analysis on the SPY too, sometimes for options traders or whatever you may want to do there. But that's what I will be focusing on, okay? Mainly futures trading on the ES mini contracts, but also SPY options. I'll put that out every now and then and give you a progress report, on my wins and losses there. So the thing about the internet, you'll find there's a lot of people who like to portray themselves as, very successful genius trader or something that's like 90%, 80 to 90% accurate. I'm not that guy. I lose more than I win right now. Okay. So full disclosure. Now you're thinking, well, why would you even be interested in this channel? Well, because it's an interesting project, maybe we can become better, as one. I may do something crazy and vote buy, but hey, if 50% of us don't say buy, then we're not going to buy. All right. So don't be lured in. I would just say, I don't want to speak bad against anybody in particular, but I will tell you this, that most traders you see online, they don't make their living from trading. They just make their living from selling you courses and education, which you could probably get for free, online anywhere. It's an amazing day and age we live in today. So who am I? I am Jerry Rose, and what you need to know about me, first and foremost, is that I love the Lord Jesus Christ. Really, that's what my whole life is about. It's about Jesus, really. And if that turns you off from this, then no hurt feelings on my part. Just know that this channel is strictly a business venture for me. And whatever venture I take on, I always seek to do so to the glory of God, okay? But know this, whether you're a believer or not, I will never discriminate against you. Everybody gets a fair shot. Everybody gets a fair shot to participate, and all of you are welcome. I am here to help you financially, just through this project. I'm trying to help others as well as help myself. And I believe that we can all lift each other up from our losing all the time at trading individually. And maybe we can find a solution in coming together and learning from one another and coming to a consensus together on every trade, in real time. I think it's an exciting proposition myself. But if you ever are, seeking answers to life's biggest questions, or you're in distress about anything, I'm always available. Just send me an email. I will have that at the end of this slideshow. So just a little bit about my journey to trying to become a full-time day trader. All right. Back in 2019 through 2020, when the COVID thing began, that's when I began looking into full-time day trading. Now, before that, I had served in the Army for 13 years. I am an Army veteran. And yeah, I got out in 2019 and I had a great contracting job where I had a top secret clearance, which is probably the main reason I got that job. And it was great. and I had no interest in trading or investing. I just don't live that way. I just don't, I never save up for tomorrow because, hey, that's just my philosophy, okay? I am a firm believer in working, having income, and giving what you don't need today. I firmly believe in Jesus' teaching when he said, take no thought for the morrow, for the things of the morrow should take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. And he also said, look at the birds. They don't reap, they don't gather into barns, right? But our Heavenly Father feeds them, so he'll feed us too. And he also pointed to the flowers, right? So food and clothes, God gives us every day. That's what I truly believe. But I also do believe in working. My dream is not to just one day live it up here in this world because I don't know, just my personal faith. I don't believe God put us on in this life to do that, but to give him glory and to really know the fellowship of Jesus Christ and the love of God. All right. So anyway, enough of that. However, so when the economy shut down, right, and the vaccines were mandated, that's when I decided to leave my job and I left. I will no, I will. I will never work for the federal government again. Just too many things about it. I just don't. I don't know. If I ever do work for the federal government again, I suppose it would be as a congressperson or something, but never as an employee of the executive branch again. So my specialty, right, is in telecommunications. Back when I was in the Army, I started off as a 13 Fox, so that's a fire support specialist. I was in combat arms for my first contract. And then I became a SATCOM operator maintainer, 25 Sierra, satellite communications. And then I learned Chinese as a crypto linguist, 35 Papa, and then became a signals intelligence analyst at 35 November. And then after that, I tried to fly helicopters, but they didn't accept my application. I was a little too old, so I decided to leave. I had 7 more years until retirement, but as I said, I'm not all about that life. I don't store up for tomorrow because I don't put my trust in uncertain riches. You know what I mean? Some of you may. Most of you probably won't. But hey, I'm just giving you a background so you know who I am and where I am coming from in all this, okay? And so as of today, I am working as a broadcast engineer. I won't give you my exact place of employment, but just know that that's what I do. We have over like 20 broadcast sites, microwave relay and broadcast sites. We broadcast PBS and NPR. And basically my job right now is just to make sure everything stays on the air. All right. So I am the father of 9 children with my one and only wife, Elizabeth Rose. I love my family very much, and we're expecting our 10th child, as a matter of fact. So, starting this project for them, really. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably be just some homeless dude working, whatever job, it doesn't matter. But I'd probably just be living out of my car by a river or something, Be living in a van and by the river and showering at the YMCA probably. But I am a family man. So I have to make sure my family's taken care of, And I thank God, and I'm grateful that we do okay. We're living okay. So share with you my trading philosophy, okay? So my philosophy is pretty simple. As I said, I'm not looking to become rich. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be anything like that. But what I am looking for is just a steady income, okay? Apart from being a W-2 employee, that's all. I'm just trying to get some of my time back and not letting my financial stability be at the mercy of an employer like I was when the whole COVID thing happened. All right? I don't know where you all stand on that. It doesn't really matter to me. But personally, I had to take a stand and just say, I'm not going to let a paycheck determine what I allow to be put into my body or not. It wasn't part of the original job agreement. And then they tried to come out with these vaccines, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Not because I was afraid of the vaccine or nothing. It's just the principle of the matter. As a man in this world, I'm still an American citizen. I'm all about the Constitution of the United States and our God-given human rights, but that's just me, okay? If you want to know, you probably don't, but I will give it anyway. As I said, I'm not looking for subscribers. I'm not looking for more views. I'm looking for a particular kind of person. I am looking for somebody who is willing to work with me on this project, who can put our political hatred aside, put our religious hatred aside, and just focus on working together as a team to succeed in futures trading. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And so with that said, I'm a libertarian. Okay, I don't absolutely love Trump. I don't absolutely hate Biden, or vice versa. I don't know these people personally. I do know their policies, and I will say that across the board, they're mostly unconstitutional, They're a far cry from George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. I'll just say that. But that's where I stand on that. I am totally against the Federal Reserve, but as this system is still going, hey, let's just take advantage and have some fun with it, okay? So, yeah, I'm content with what I have, okay? My job ain't so bad. They could probably pay me a little bit more, but that's okay. But I do seek to increase my ability to help others. There's a lot of people that need help out there. And unfortunately, right now, as of this moment, I don't have much extra to give at all, And it does really suck, when people ask for help and you just have to say, I just don't have it. And to increase that ability to help others, I cannot do that at a dead-end job, Hey, as I said, it's a great job. I have an office and all that, woo, but it's a dead-end job, ultimately. And so let me explain how I approach this endeavor, okay? 2 basic principles I've learned from the Bible. I do not put my trust in uncertain riches, okay? 401ks, retirement accounts, all that. I'm not about that life. I'm here to make income. I'm not here to advise you on how to grow your portfolios and all that. And that's all good if you do that, hey, even nature itself teaches us these things, right? Store up for the winter, so you can make it through. Be wise. But I personally, my faith is such that I just go by Jesus's teachings in the New Testament. So I don't put my trust in uncertain riches. I'm not here to accumulate wealth so that I can retire and just live comfortably until I die. That's not me. What I am looking for has always been, since I was a teenager, up until now, and will always be until I fall asleep, to have Jesus's commendation when I see him. All right. So, and number 2, I give as I have been freely given. Any success in my life, I've never gone a day where I didn't have food to eat and I didn't have clothes to wear or a place to sleep. All right. And I give all of glory to God. He's the one that provides. He gives me the brain to think with. He gives me the technology to use, and he gives me my friends to help me. And no doubt, he will send the right people my way to be part of this team. All right, so my trading rules. I have 7 rules, okay? Number 1, I do all to the glory of God, and I never impose my rules onto others. As I said, I'm a libertarian, Hey, you do you, as long as you're not infringing on other people's God-given rights, you're not hurting anybody, you're not stealing from anyone, you're not, doing evil to others, then, do whatever you want. That's how I see it. I will give account to the Lord for my own actions, and you will give account to God for yours, okay? Number 2, I never blame others for my own failures. We got to take accountability for our own decisions, okay? So no matter what the team may decide, hey, you can decide in the end whether you're going to do it or not. If we get a buy signal because 50%, 55% of us says, you know what, that's a buy. You ultimately, as the individual trading on your own account, can decide, you know what, it's not a good idea. And don't do it. But if you do it, don't blame anybody else. Okay? Number 3, enjoy what I'm doing and stay grateful and humble. If this becomes anything that takes away my own peace, my own joy, I'm going to stop. And I would advise you also to do the same. Number 4, work. There is no easy meal ticket here, okay? You got to work. You got to do the work. And I would advise you, don't just try to jump into this. No matter what kind of money you have to invest, remember, you can lose it all in a day, especially trading futures, okay? My advice is once you get good enough and you have your rules, you have your rhythm, you have the feel, and you've proven to yourself, right, that you can actually make a full-time job out of this. Until then, I would say just keep your day job. Number 5, only invest what I can lose. That's what I do. Any money I ever invest, if I lose it, it's not going to destroy me. I'm not going to be betting my mortgage on it, Ultimately, this is a bet, okay? I mean, it's not straight gambling, but you are taking educated guesses, and nobody can actually know what the institutions are about to do. Once they start hitting that sell button and everybody starts FOMO selling, guess what? All your technical analysis is out the window, okay? Nobody can predict the future. So only invest what you can lose. That's my rule for myself, but you do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your own money. Number 6, don't love money. It's not about the money itself. Money is only a tool, okay? They that will be rich in this world, they pierce themselves through with many sorrows, right? And they ensnare themselves in foolish and hurtful lusts, okay? The love of money is the root of all evil. Don't forget that. The reason is the root of all evil is because this tool will amplify the evil that's in you, okay? Don't let it do that. Don't let it do that. Use it as a tool for good, all right, whatever that may be, even if it's just providing for your own family, or just helping others in need or starting projects you've always wanted to with noble causes, But also understand that money and the amount of money you have amplifies who you really are. Now, if you are a spiritual person, it will amplify the goodness, right? And I don't know, it will amplify the good in you. But if you are an evil person at heart, yeah, a lot of money is just going to amplify the evil in you. Anyway, so number 7, don't belittle others, but edify and teach, right? I may joke around sometimes, and I might question your strategies or whatever you may say. But I'm not here to belittle anybody because you know what? We all start from somewhere. And as I said, I'm really just at the beginning right now myself. I don't know everything. I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. So, and any question you may have, don't be afraid to ask. It may sound like a stupid question, but that's okay. I'll answer you. I'll only answer you so many times, though. Understand that. Because we do live in a world where information is accessible right at our fingertips. So that's it. That's introducing my channel, 18 Trading Strategies. Again, I'm Jerry Rose, and I'm the 18 leader, okay? I'm the guy behind the mouse. And our email is 18trading777@gmail.com. And there's our YouTube channel, which you probably are on right now. All right, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and get into some analysis, okay? And I will show you what I have up here. So this is a trading view. This is the free edition. So I got a little bear up there right now because I still feel we are in a bear market. Now, with the rally last week, I'm hearing a lot of talk about the bottom is in and we're on our way up to all-time highs, right? Maybe. I just haven't had the confirmation with the volume last week, to say that. There was no breakthrough on volume. Now, let me just explain what you're seeing here. I have a trend channel. Oops, I don't know where that was. Right there, I think. But, yeah, so I have a trend channel. No, that was up here. Yeah, well, whatever. So, starting from about last year, well, actually, 2 years ago, right? You can see we've been on a steady uptick here, steady ascension to our price level, which we hit back in mid-February. And along this process, there was Joe Biden, and then Donald Trump got elected, and then once Donald Trump was inaugurated, the whole tariffs talks started happening, and that's when we started to go down, all right? And also, if you notice, I drew a straight channel, but also there was a trend, sloping support there, that seemed to form. Now, I will give you my philosophy on what we're seeing, okay? My thoughts. Now, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not some enlightened guru here, but I do know a little bit about the markets and who actually makes this all happen. It's not the little guys. It's not guys like you and me who actually make these movements happen. All right. It is what they call the market makers. If you don't know who the market makers are, or what we're talking about the institutions with millions and billions of dollars to invest into the markets. Okay. Hedge fund managers, retirement account managers, 401k managers, Vanguard, BlackRock, people like these, okay? They're the ones who actually make things happen in the market. They provide liquidity in the market so that when you hit the sell or buy button, your order is immediately filled. So they do provide a service for us. And for that, I am grateful. However, they also need to make their customers money, okay? They need to make the money grow. And to be able to enter into large positions, they need a lot of liquidity. What does that mean? That means if they're trying to buy, if they're trying to buy thousands of shares of the SPY, right? What do they need? They need thousands of sellers. So how do they get people to sell? Well, they trigger a sell-off. They start selling some of their own. And once enough is sold to push the price down, because there are more sellers, quote unquote, there's actually only one seller, but there are more sell orders than buy orders, brings the price down to where they can actually lift it up again and buy slowly in a range instead of at a specific price. Okay? So that's what they do. And so if we look here, you'll see this slopey support, right? Now, here's my thoughts, okay, and what I think has been happening. I believe that along this time, the slow upward slope here over these past 2 years, well, let's just look at this little instance here. So now look, right here. Say an institution needs to enter in and get in long, right? What they would do, it's going to go up, but say right here. They need to enter in to a long position, but if they start buying, it's going to drive the price. It's going to cause it to skyrocket, right? So what do they have to do? They need to start suppressing the prices. So if you look at up here, this is what we call, see these wicks on the tops of these candles? What we are looking at right now is the the weekly, okay? Each candle represents 1 week. And this is over a 5-year span. Yeah, 5 years. So we're going to look at this. Now, just a basic explanation of the concept as best as I know it. Now, if any of you out there know better, please comment, and enlighten us, please. Yeah, there it is. So it opened at 43.15. The high of the week was 44.30.50. The low 42.99.50, and it closed at 43.57. So now if you look at this, that wick means it came up and then it was rejected. So what that always indicates to me, what I'm always looking for, and what I'm always wondering is if the market makers, some hedge fund or institution, the market maker isn't just one entity, right? It's a collection of entities managing billions and even trillions of dollars. So again, they need to make an entry and they're looking for a range, but they can't just, shoot up the price, buying a million shares of the S&P 500. So what they need to do is bring it down. So when I see this, when it comes up, retail brings it up because in my experience, retail has always been optimistic. I believe myself, if the market makers and the media and everybody stopped manipulating the people, it would go back to just constantly going up. And I don't know, that could be a good or bad thing. But anyway, so when I see wicks to the top, that indicates to me the market maker is doing something because they're the ones that make the market move, okay? So when you see this, goes up, goes down, closes lower again, right? So retail came up, pushed the prices up, and then the market maker kept the prices suppressed, sell off, right? And every time they hit the sell button, a lot of orders started flooding the market and brings the price down. So when people start selling, that's when the market maker starts buying again. And it brings it up, they reject it, market maker keeps it suppressed, boom, another wick, right, to the top to bring it down again. So as retail starts selling off, that makes the movement much faster, okay? So now if you look at the time frame from, Monday, July 31st, all the way down to 23rd of October. So what is that, the space of like 4 or 5 months? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just about 3 months. But now look at this movement all the way up here. As you can see, it's a longer time frame. So when you see that drop, that tells me that the market maker is trying to bring it in down to a better range so that they can enter a better long position. And when you see this steady move up, that shows me that the market maker is buying. They're buying all the way up. And then they stop buying, and then retail brings it right back down. And, for several reasons, traders, they've, over the past, century, they've come up with techniques, and they look for patterns, channels, trading channels, and we all basically trade the same way because we all learn the same methods, okay? And the hedge fund managers and these market makers, this mysterious market maker, these traders, they were traders just like you and I, and they learned all these same things themselves, except now they're dealing with millions and trillions of dollars, not like you and I anymore. So their job is to go ahead and quote unquote manipulate the market so that they can enter in long or short, depending on what's in the best interest of their clients, or it's supposed to be that way. So that's what they do. They bring it down, trigger a little sell off, but not too far, right? And then, boom, it goes up. Now, a lot of people think, and you may disagree with me here, a lot of people think that the news headlines determines the direction of a market. I disagree with that. What I say is the directions are already predetermined, okay? Headlines can be manipulated to be good or bad, whatever it is. The masses are just controlled by whatever propaganda is out there at the moment. All right. Like, take the tariffs, for instance. I mean, the recent tariffs news, right? Look, if all the legacy media and all the outlets out there and all the globalists, financial people, the IMF and all them, if they were all saying, "Oh yeah, tariffs, that's exactly what we need to do right now," you would not see all this turmoil. You can you could flip any kind of headline, any kind of news story, good or bad. See, this is what you need to realize about the world, in my opinion. This is what I've learned, okay? Men are deceiving and being deceived every day. The chart you see on the screen here has nothing to do with reality. I mean, just think about the past 4 years. Do you think we've actually been doing well? I don't know, maybe. According to some people in their own little world, yeah, things have been great. Woohoo! According to some people, it's been really hard. They haven't been able to pay their bills. Prices have been skyrocketing, yada, yada. So what causes these things to happen? Again, it's not about anything else except for the market maker and their plan and what they need to do. Okay? And I'm not an economist. I don't know everything. I just know a few things, okay? And basically, this is what happens. So right up here, you'll see another time. When do you think, here's what happens, right? This is the cycle that you'll see as you keep watching the markets every day. It'll go up to a certain point. It'll start to lose volume, right? Boom, boom, boom. Because market maker, they're not accumulating anymore. They're not buying anymore, right? So volume drops. And then they trigger a sell-off. This week, boom, they start selling. Bam, big old drop, right? And everybody's like, oh, look, we're at the top of a channel. They start FOMO selling. Fear of missing out, because they know there's a big move down coming. So they all sell until, boom, they hit a wick down here. When the market maker says, no, we're going to keep buying. Because you know what? See this increase in volume here? You see how that goes up while this goes down? What that tells me is at the bottom of this, that's when the market maker said, you know what? It's going to go here, but no further. And no matter how much retail keeps on trying to sell, that price is not going to move. I mean, it may go down and up and down, but basically, bam, you're going to end up right there. And the market maker makes that happen. And the reason why they do that is because they decide, you know what? That's where we need to go. We've sold enough shares, taken some profits. Now we got to go again. We're going to accumulate again. And then off we go, a slower accumulation until boom, another market maker says, you know what? We got to reap our profits now. And they trigger a sell off again. And it always forms this pattern because they know right here is where retailers, the little guys like you and I, are going to start shorting. And they take advantage of that and they just boost the momentum down. And yeah, it'll go back and forth sometimes because remember, there's not only one market maker. But when you see a fast move like that down, usually it's retail that does that, okay? For the most part. But it's like lighting the fuse to a stick of dynamite, when a big institution puts in like orders through many brokerage firms, they don't just do it all through one because market manipulation is quote unquote illegal. But let's not be fooled. They do it to a certain extent anyway. So they trigger with a big sell order or many sell orders from many brokerages, and retail begins to short once they see that. Oh, this is the resistance, right? Sloping resistance. And then week after week, but it's really a short time period. This was within the period of a month. Okay, we went from what, 5, 6, 7, 8, around there, and we hit the bottom at 5127. All right, so big drop there, but you see that long wick again, right? And that's on big volume. So what does that show me? So right here, boom, market maker triggers a sell-off, right? Probably responsible for half that candle. Retail drives it lower. Boom. Then we have another range, okay? More buying and selling, but the market maker is really just trying to probably offload some shares right now from their profit on buying down here or down here. Now they've held, and now they have a lot of profit to take, so they're taking the profit, selling, and there's still a lot of buyers, when you see these wicks. Now that fast move down, they got to bring it down. They trigger it, taking some profits along the way from selling, bringing down the price, and sometimes they'll just let go. But when you see the spike up again and down, that's when you know, okay, market maker wants to bring it back down lower than that because they're not ready to buy again yet. They're still trying to offload some shares. So when they get down here and then you see the spike up, now you know, oh, okay. And that's on volume too, you see? So we see volume go up as the price goes down. And that's what the market maker's doing. They're selling off, taking profit, or entering into short positions to go ahead and take profit down here. But I'm not so sure that they actually work on such a short time frame. Remember, big institutions with big money are working on time frames of months, okay? Months to years even. So they sell off, and then retail is the one that FOMOs and panics, because that's just how we are as little guys, We lose a lot of money, and we're afraid of losing money. So they begin to sell, and short the market. And also making a lot of money on the way, too. You can make a lot of money on these moves, okay? If you can understand what the market maker is doing. So it goes down here, and then you see this wick, right? That wick is always indicative of strong support. And sometimes it's a real fast move back up. And so what is happening there? Well, the market maker is triggering. Actually, market maker probably took a big old entry there. Got a good chunk of it down there. And then in this week, so here's the thing about weekly candles too. You don't know what's happening in there day to day. But you can look at the volume for the entire week. You see that? Low volume. Retail took it. Retail took it there and boom, shot it up on low volume. All right? Low volume again. But you had a little uptick, and now you're going up in volume. And now you see this big old red candle, right? Big green candle. These are all indicative to me of retail pushing the market right now. Market makers and the institutions have basically just stepped out for a second, and let retail do their thing, but putting limits on it so it doesn't get out of control. Because if the hedge funds and the institutions don't just stop buying and selling for a little while, or just decrease their buying and selling, I'm telling you, these candles get quite large, very large, okay? And so you keep on going, and now a lot of optimism in the market, right? Retail pushing this up, pushing it up until around here. And you'll notice here, some inside info, right? So just like last time, I don't know, people forget, or we have very short-term memories, I guess, memories of a goldfish. But we always knew that Trump was all about the tariffs, it wasn't anything unexpected. So, you had talks of tariffs and what Trump was going to do as far as foreign policy. And as the legacy media, amps up the fear, then you see volume basically just staying the same, around there, and the price ranging, right? So you see the momentum of this climb, it's kind of petering out up here week by week. And then, boom, there you go. The talks of the tariffs, right? Really start to be hammered in the headlines. And yeah, market maker triggers off a sell, taking advantage of the news and the environment, taking advantage, just triggering a sell off, right? And here is the funny part, right? Liberation Day, whenever that happened, old President Trump came out with that chart, and it caught a lot of the institutions off guard, causing the price to really plummet. And the institutions didn't hold it up there, because you know what? It wasn't profitable there, because they didn't expect Trump to come out with that chart and with such high numbers, right? That freaked everybody out. But you see this massive wick, And what is that? That is, again, liquidity up there. Liquidity, right? As I said, when the market maker needs to enter into a position, they need sellers or buyers depending on what they're doing. So when you see these wicks, right before, if you were watching that day, right before Trump was started speaking, you would have seen a quick spike up, right? And the market was actually pretty high there. It was climbing up, and then bam, that chart came out, and boom, down we went. And it seemed like we never stopped. Let me put this on the daily. Get a clearer view here. All right. So boom, there they went. That gap down, and yeah, the market makers just took advantage of this. See, I drew this channel in here, and the reason why I don't have the bottom of the channel lined up with this was because that was just an emotional sell-off right there. I think it went a little further than the market makers actually planned. And I don't know if we're actually going to reach this range again. And I think that this is the actual demand zone here. I have it separated just to explain this chart real quick. Supply zone 1, supply zone 2, demand zone 1, demand zone 2. So I think, just my opinion, that the true channel is right here, and that we are on a bearish decline right now, and that the plan is to decline until about mid-May to June, and then we will be back up to steadily climb onto newer heights again. That's just my theory. Now, a lot of people think that we are on our way up to newer highs right now, and the bottom was in, and we're going to break that, and we're going to keep going through the supply zones, okay? But from what I saw last week, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, we may open up here in this heavy resistance. It was heavy resistance last week. But we may open there, but I'm not so sure we're going to be staying up there for long, because I just don't think it's the market maker's plan. Now, everybody thinks they're always watching for the news headlines, right? I don't really pay attention too much to the headlines, except for when it comes to like, where do I put my stops? How fast do I think this movement's going to happen? I do think we're going to come down. I do think we're probably going to retest around the 5,141 area, okay, which will bring us down to the bottom of this channel somewhere, to the bottom of this demand zone that I've drawn out, demand zone 1. Now, as I said, I have a bearish bias on the market right now. I don't think there's any volume here to actually confirm an actual recovery. Because look at all this volume here, right? All this volume here still hasn't been accounted for. I believe there's still a lot of bears up here just waiting to shoot this price right back down. And I think that's exactly what the market maker wants. Because back in during the COVID crisis, with all the printing of trillions and trillions of dollars, naturally the prices are going to go up. You just have more dollars out there. You have more people investing into 401ks and retirement accounts and all that. So what are they going to do with all this money? I believe institutions like Vanguard, they have a lot of cash that they need to get into this market sooner than later. And that's why I think this whole crash has happened. I don't believe it's because of tariffs. I don't believe it's anything else other than a pre-planned, game plan here. Why do you think in the headlines you hear talks about recession and bear market and all that? Well, it's because that's the plan. That's the game plan. They put it right in front of your face. I mean, you can argue against the data. You can argue against their plans. You can argue against the legacy media. Yeah, they might be totally wrong. That doesn't affect this in any way, folks. I mean, it just doesn't. You notice how Tesla came out with bad earnings and yet the price still went up? Why do you think that is? It's because of the big money and what their plan is, okay? It has nothing to do with hard facts. It has everything to do with your emotion and what the big money does. And they take advantage of your emotion to strengthen the momentum, right? Now, the wild card in all this may be Trump, maybe President Trump. I don't know, but it seems that way. That's why I believe all this, this looks like a liquidity sweep, right? To go to the upside, like a bear fake out. I don't think that's what that was at all. That was just an emotional, unpredictable thing that happened, and retail caused it to just drop way faster than the moneymaker expected, and all the all the big money, yeah, they started it, but then when it got to a certain point, they had to let it go. But they had a plan. Okay, we're gonna stop it right around here because that's kind of reasonable, right? And we wound up having a huge swings, right? This is all retail making this big swing happen. Low volume and high emotion produces big candles, all right? Big daily and weekly candles. So here we go. We're on this roller coaster that we've been on for the past, the past month, really. All right. Ever since February, past 2 months. But this move wasn't so bad. See, this was more controlled. See, this is how I know the market makers, right? They don't always have complete control. They have a lot of control when the volume is low like this. All right. They have a lot of control, but they don't have complete control. But you see this slow decrease and you see the wicks at the top. That shows me, more wicks at the top at least, that shows me most of the institutions purposely brought the price down here, okay? And why would they do that? To enter into long position. Now, you would ask, well, why are they entering into a long position to only go down again? Well, remember this. They have to accumulate shares before they could trigger the sell-off. And then they use that sell-off to go ahead and enter into a long position again so that they can go ahead and trigger another sell-off. And I'm telling you, they make money on the way up. They make money on the way down. You just have to know what is happening. And oftentimes you really can't tell until you get into the weeds and you're day trading and you're looking at it in the day and you're seeing low volume and the price goes up to a certain level and bam, it comes right back down and the price will just hang up at the top of that channel and then bam, drop real quick, right? So now you can see the market maker just every time the retail is trying to break that level on low volume, what happens? Well, the aggressive liquidity comes in from the hedge fund that keeps selling, right, and shorting. And it brings the price down and keeps it suppressed until retail finally breaks and they say, oh, we're not going to break this. Let's start selling. Let's start shorting. Or the market maker actually, they put in a big short order, which brings the price down. Sorry about that. I got interrupted there. But anyway, I hope that you kind of get what I'm saying here, okay? Everything on this screen, all the digits and all the pretty candlesticks you see, oftentimes is totally disconnected from reality. Because think about this. You as an individual, where is your reality coming from? It comes from a screen. Most of the time, I mean, are you telling me you've been in New York, you've been in the White House, you've been running in all these circles and you know what's going on every day? No, you don't. You don't really know what's happening in the world. You have to rely on people to tell you what's happening in the world. And you will find one side says this, the other side says this. Sometimes they say the same. But you as an individual, you never really know. But you do know this, and most people already understand this that have been trading for a little while, that it's the people with the money who can drive the market down and they can drive it up, all according to whatever they wish. Now, if you notice, if you look at the history of the S&P 500, it's always going up, 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 right? Because there is far more money to be made going up. The profits are unlimited up here. Your profits going down are limited. All right, so in the long run, what are the big institutions doing? Well, they're buying, of course. Do they make money on the way down like this? Yes, of course they do, because they trigger it in the first place by selling a portion of their holdings to trigger the little guy to start panicking and thinking the sky is falling and shorting and all that. And market maker starts buying again because they have clients. They have 401ks to manage. They have a lot of retirement money that needs to grow, right? So they need to increase their holdings. And that's what they've always been doing. They've been holding and buying and accumulating and triggering sell-offs to make money on you, to make more money for themselves and, of course, their clients, because they will get more money to buy more shares to keep growing your retirement accounts. All right? Now, the problem, folks, if you're still manipulated by the powers that be, and you look at all this emotionally, you're never going to succeed. All right? You're never going to succeed. And that was my problem before. I could not figure this out for the life of me. You know, I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos about how the markets are manipulated and why. And I tell you, it's life-changing. It's eye-opening, people, once you see it. So now, I may be totally wrong, okay? This could very well be a liquidity sweep, but I don't think so. I think that was unexpected, actually. I think what we're going to see is a liquidity sweep up here for more shorts. See, what is happening in the market right at this moment is that there are not many buyers or sellers in the market at all. So how do you get more buyers? Well, you got to bring the prices down. You got to make it cheap, 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 so that the little guy like you and me will start buying more stocks, buying more companies like Tesla, Apple, Google, you know, the S&P 500, even the NASDAQ and the Dow. We got to start buying more shares, right? We got to start investing into our 401ks. How are they going to make that happen? Not if everybody thinks that, oh, these tariffs are so horrible. You know, I don't think that the media and the hedge funds are in cahoots or anything. I think that the media and what's happening right now, because we all know that the media does not like President Trump at all, right? So, of course, how are they going to spin this whole tariff thing? Oh, yeah, we're going to be taxed, and no, our goods from China are going to be so much more expensive, and it's going to be horrible, you know? So it's all spun that in a negative light, and big money knows this. So what do? They trigger a sell-off so that you think, oh, it's the end of the world, and then boom, it comes down here. And then the market maker starts buying. And then you had people saying, oh, why is the market going up? It's going up for no reason. People, the reason is always the big money, okay? Because they have the power to buy, because they're dealing with all of your money. Well, for the most part, if you invest in a 401k or any kind of retirement, you are the one who is they are accumulating shares on your behalf, which drives the price up. Okay, now, do I believe that they still have more cash? Yeah, they need to accumulate more stocks. All right, because I don't think that this whole issue from the COVID-19 thing has been resolved yet, has been settled yet. There's still a lot of liquid cash, not in people's own pockets, but in the accounts of these hedge fund managers. I believe they still have a lot more positions to accumulate, long positions, okay? I don't think we're done yet. And I do believe we're probably going to retest around the 5,100 area, 5,150. We'll probably tap that again before we go up. I don't know. We don't ever really know. Okay? And we'll see what happens at open on Sunday, tomorrow. Okay, so let's take a little bit. Oh yeah. Oops. My bad. Let's do this. So just to give you an idea on the strategy I'm going to be using the RSI and the VWAP. All right. We'll use those two in conjunction with each other. And as I said, we're just paper trading right now and just looking for ideas, looking for better strategies, or just, just developing our market senses too. And what I'm focused on for myself personally is just to get better clarity on what these institutions have planned. These institutions, I want you to remember this, they're never planning to bring the market down to zero. That is ridiculous. Why would they do that? Because if they did that, they would go out of business. All their customers' retirement accounts down to zero. How much longer do you think they'll be in business, right? It's all a plan. It's all a plan to accumulate more long positions. And if you look at these last few candles here, right? Now this is on a shorter time frame. Okay, this is 1 hour. What I see here is the setup for a bearish drop again. And I will be looking for a retest. Probably not tomorrow. Prices don't move that fast over the weekend. So that was Friday. And then, where is it? Yeah, so aftermarket. Oh, this is all, my time is in New York time. Okay. So when the market closed at what? Yeah, Friday 1600, right? So what I see is a setup for a bearish move, probably retesting down to I would say probably 54.89.75 area. All right. So right now for us bears, right? Since I'm a bear at this moment, I'm a Care Bear. I would say right now we are in our supply zone 1. Expect heavy resistance, but you never know. Could just jump right through for all I know. You never really know. All you're doing is taking educated guesses. But my belief is that the hedge funds and institutions need to accumulate more shares, and it's coming down lower so that they can get a better price, and they will be accumulating again probably all the way back up to around the previous highs in February, around 61.70. And then we'll have to reevaluate and see what's happening then. Anyway, that's my analysis for today. As of this week, today, what's today's date? April 26, 2025. As I said, I am not a guru or nothing. I'm just looking at the same charts as you and just sharing with you my mindset and how I look at things. And yeah, if any of you have any input, just let me know. And I hope that we could get to trading together, and who knows where this thing could go. In any case, this is A-Team Trading Strategies, signing off.